that is the reason why I might end up closing the shop for some time. Green light. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Filming Talking, another Monday. So as you can observe, I got a new light for recording and stuff because it's getting quite dark in Sweden now. I mean, it gets dark like at 4 or so, because like obviously the change of hour that we have in Europe makes it a little bit annoying, especially in the north of Europe. Obviously, that's something that you get used to it at some point, but still it's worth to mention. This is where the Australian embassy is located in Stockholm, in Sweden, in case you ever need to come here. But anyway, in today's video I want to talk about the importance of cash flow in businesses and the importance of knowing when you need to stop something, when knowing how much money you need to invest upfront into something. And it doesn't even matter if it's a business, but if you need some money, for example, for buying a house, but you expect obviously for maybe doing the down payment of something, and you intend to live in that place, but after you don't know 100% sure if you're going to be able to pay for the rest of how much you need to pay until you end up paying the full cost and value of that place that you bought, then it doesn't really make, in my opinion, doesn't make 100% sense that you buy that property if you don't know that obviously you can pay it until the end, until you pay. Because if you don't pay it, obviously, and no one has the ability to pay it, bank is gonna take over your property. And that is something that so many people think, that when you buy a house and you ask for a loan to a bank and you pay a percentage of the property, so many people think that it's their place, but it's actually not their place. It's not an asset until you paid 100% for something. So like if you buy a car and you pay the car, if you buy a bike, which is, I don't know, 500 bucks or like 500 euros, then in that case, yes, it's yours. But if you need to pay it little by little, you know, until you don't pay it until the end, until you paid everything, is not yours. But anyway, this was coming more from the idea of cash flow, and if you need to be sure that a business needs some money to start, and you need to calculate costs, and you need to make sure that the business is not losing money at some point. I mean, if you can lose money maybe for some time, you know, maybe 6, 12 months, 18 months that you're like injecting money to the business, and still you're not being profitable. But you need to make sure that you're putting the money on the business, and then that you can pay for everything on the business, for all the expenses that the business needs, for how many months it needs, you know. And this is something that whenever you want to start a business is important to consider. And that's the reason why, in my opinion, starting businesses of physical products, where you sell physical products, product-based businesses, you need quite some money to start, like from the beginning, you know, up front. And that's the reason why, if you want to be profitable, like really profitable, and still not put a lot of time on the business, probably is not the best business to start, especially if you want to have time, and especially if you don't have a lot of money to start with, like as upfront. But anyway, let's get home and let's keep talking about, because there's still some more stuff to talk and to announce. And as I was saying before, I think and I truly believe that whenever you start a business or whenever you start a side hustle, it's much better to start with something that does not require a lot of money as an upfront investment, and therefore avoiding physical products, and basically avoiding a business where you sell physical products. And therefore instead it's much better to start selling a service or selling digital products. Why? Because when you sell digital services, you only require your time and you do it on demand. So like, for example, getting a client that you need, for example, to do some specific task like some ads or whatever thing, or like maybe some copywriting, because in that case you will be working on demand. So like there's that demand, you have a client that wants you to do something, or maybe you can like externalize it to someone else living in, so that you can leverage his or her time and expertise on that, and therefore you will get also more time for yourself for doing something else. But definitely that's one is much better to start from the beginning, that for example selling digital products, because for the digital products you need to develop them. You need time in order to see if the product, to have a minimum viable product and then sell that product. Then obviously you need to first, same happen physical products, to see if there's demand for that thing that you're creating. Because if there's no demand for, creating a course on how to get scholarships, for example, or how to make t-shirts, if there's no demand for that, it doesn't make sense that you create that thing, or that info product, that digital product. Therefore, if there's no demand, how are you going to sell that thing that has no demand? So therefore, I truly believe that it's better to start first with a digital service, providing a service by itself, then with a digital product or digital products itself, and then the last one is by selling physical products. Because obviously also when it comes to physical products, there's a lot of complexity and there's a lot of stuff that you need to consider. Not just obviously when you sell a digital product, you don't need to deal with import taxes, shipping it, the product itself, obviously from the factory that it's made until the 3PL or the management supplier, and the management place, and then ship it to the final customer that has bought the product. Because if it's digital, you don't need to deal with this stuff, because it's on the internet, and then you're just sending bytes and data over the internet. So that's something definitely important that I learned. Obviously it's important to aware about that. So inevitably, if you start or you're thinking about starting a business, have this in mind, that it's much better to start doing these 3 steps, so that you have clear that you have a cash flow on itself, and then maybe you can use the money that you generated in a previous business as leverage for starting a physical product brand or a digital product. So that was pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, remember to subscribe to Freeman Talking here in case you haven't done that yet, because I upload 2 videos every week. And down here to see my last upload on the channel before I go next week to 2 places really interesting. So I'm gonna be creating a lot of new content for the channel, and those places are in the Middle East and in Asia. So yeah, thanks so much, and as always, remember to stay always friendly.